The government just dumped millions of files tied to Jeffrey Epstein, and within hours, a federal judge stepped in and said the whole thing failed. Victim names exposed. Identifying details visible to anyone who looked. Documents pulled down mid-release and hastily reprocessed, but that's not what has Washington in full panic mode right now. Donald Trump's name is in those files, no charges. No proven allegations. But his name is sitting inside official government documents, permanently. And in today's world, that alone is enough to change the trajectory of everything. Here's what actually happened. The Department of Justice released over 2,000 videos, 180,000 images, and millions of pages of investigative material from the Epstein case. Biggest document dump tied to this case in history. Official government release, not a leak, but two members of Congress, Thomas Massie, Republican, and Ro Khanna, Democrat, got access to the full unredacted version. And after reading what the public cannot see, both of them walked out and said the same thing: what you're being shown is not the full story. They couldn't say more. But the signal was loud. Then the Justice Department itself confirmed something that lit everything on fire. Some allegations in these files, including ones mentioning Donald Trump, are unverified and unsubstantiated. His name is in there. The claims may not be proven, but they exist. In official government documents. Forever, no charges filed. But here's the thing about damage: it doesn't wait for charges, and the reason this release went so catastrophically wrong tells you something much darker about who this actually hurt, and who it was designed to hurt. Think about how memory works. When someone gets accused of something publicly, even if it's never proven, even if it's completely false, the accusation sticks. People remember the headline. They never read the correction buried 3 days later. The brain logs the association and it stays there permanently. Now take that psychological reality and apply it to this situation: millions of government documents. A federal judge saying they were mishandled. Members of Congress hinting the public version is hiding something. And somewhere inside all of it, a name. Donald Trump's name. Without charges. Without proof. But that's not transparency. That's a precision instrument. So how did this release go so wrong so fast? The size alone made failure almost inevitable. Millions of pages. Hundreds of thousands of images. Videos. Investigative records spanning years. Redacting something this massive properly would take years of careful, methodical review. Every victim name. Every home address. Every identifying detail that could expose a survivor, all of it has to be manually caught. The Justice Department tried to do this under enormous public pressure, on a compressed timeline. And they failed. Judge Berman didn't issue a polite suggestion. He issued a court order. Because real people, survivors who cooperated with investigators, who testified, who trusted the government to keep them safe, had their identities exposed. The system made them a promise. And it broke that promise in front of the entire internet. But here's where it gets more complicated. The Epstein case puts the government in a position where there is no right answer. Redact too much, you're protecting powerful people and the public screams cover up. Redact too little, survivors get exposed and you've caused real harm to real people. Every single decision becomes a conspiracy theory in waiting. Every blacked-out name becomes a protected billionaire in the public imagination. There is no version of this release that doesn't blow up. Now add the political layer and everything gets worse. Epstein didn't just know rich people. He knew powerful people. Presidents. Princes. Politicians on both sides of the aisle. Billionaires who shaped policy. When names like that appear in investigative files, even with disclaimers, even without charges, the fallout is immediate and it is brutal. The Justice Department knew this. They included warnings in the release. Some claims in these files are unverified. Some are unsubstantiated. Some are outright false. That sounds responsible. But think about what it actually does. You've just dropped millions of pages where some things are true. Some are false, and the public has absolutely no way to tell which is which. You haven't created clarity. You've created a fog so thick that everything becomes equally suspicious and nothing is provable. In that fog, every name is guilty. Every allegation is believable. And the truth becomes something nobody can reach. Now here's the question the mainstream coverage keeps skating around. The Justice Department chose to release this material now. They could have kept it sealed. They could have done smaller, controlled releases over months. They chose to drop millions of pages all at once, with redaction problems they already knew existed. At this specific moment, that is not an accident. Whether the intention was genuine transparency or something more calculated, the outcome is the same. Donald Trump's name is now permanently embedded in the official Epstein record. Not because of charges. Not because of proven facts. Because the documents exist. And his name is in them. And while the powerful figure in this story gets to fight another day, the people who can't fight back are the survivors. The ones who cooperated with investigators. Who were promised protection. Who woke up to find their names, their details, their stories briefly accessible to anyone with an internet connection. You can pull a document down. You cannot pull it off the internet. Screenshots live forever. Archives never forget. The people who suffered the most from this release were never the powerful ones, and what happens next makes that even clearer. Here's where this goes. And none of it is good. Judge Behrman's intervention won't be the last. More redaction errors will surface. More documents get pulled, corrected, re-released. And every single correction triggers the same question louder than before: what else did they get wrong? Every fix is an admission of failure. Every admission erodes trust in the entire process a little more. Until the public stops trusting the process entirely, Congress will push harder. The members who read the unredacted files are already signaling the public version is incomplete. Expect hearings. Demands for internal DOJ reviews. Pressure to release more. But here's the hard ceiling: Congress can investigate the process. They cannot declassify the files without committing a federal crime. So you'll get speeches. Accusations. Carefully worded implications. You will not get the documents. And Trump's political damage is already permanent: no charges. No proven allegations. Doesn't matter. Perception moves faster than truth and it hits harder than facts. The association is locked in the public record now. Opponents will use it in every election cycle. Media will reference it every time Epstein is mentioned. Voters will remember it, not the disclaimer, not the unverified label, just the association. Here's what you actually take from all of this: being in a document is not the same as being guilty. But it doesn't have to be. The survivors who trusted this system got failed first and loudest. This story will not fade. Every hearing, every correction, every new name surfacing keeps it alive indefinitely. The files are out. The names are in them, and some things, once they're out, can never be taken back. Now you know what they weren't planning to tell you.